What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels, and Cartez Cookies is absolutely destroying my diet today. Listen, fam, look. So one of the businesses that I invested in for the Help Fund Your Business initiative that I did back in December that I try to do every year. And one of them was Cartez Cookies, right? So you'll probably see it flip. Let me see if I can flip that really quickly. It's Cartez Cookies. Y'all need to go and check that out, right? This is not a sponsorship. I don't get any money from this. I'm just telling you that he sent me a bunch of cookies that me and a couple friends was rocking out with, and they super good. Now, one of my favorite just so happened to be oatmeal raisin. Is really, really good. So if y'all have not already, and I would never, ever in my life, ever endorse anything that, and again, I'm not even getting paid for this, so I'm just showing love to small business owners. I would never endorse anything that I wouldn't like myself. And so I got to make sure that I give y'all some highlights on some things that's happening. It's a couple different things that I want to start doing, and I'm gonna get over to that. But shout out to Cartez Cookies for the care package. I appreciate you. Again, this is one of the businesses that I wanted to help fund and invest my money in. I have no equity in this. I do not get paid for it. This is not a sponsorship. And they didn't even say, hey, shout me out or anything. This is really just an appreciation. Wrote me a card, said Anton, speedy recovery. Thanks for being a great example, the whole 9 yards. So shout out to Cartez Cookies for holding us down. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all of the small business owners that's out here getting it. We roll, we rock with y'all. Yes, go and look up Cartez Cookies. Support your friends and family. You don't have to be out here shopping at different places from people that you don't know. These is your own bag chasers. These are people that are part of the Patreon. These is people that are part of the crew. And they doing some great things. And I would never invest in them if I didn't believe in them. It's a really good brother. And I think that y'all should absolutely positively shout out and hold down the people that's doing the best things for us. If you go into the store, you go into the cookie store, you go into some dessert shop, just order it online. He'll send you a care package. It's really, really good in real life. So shout out to Cartez Cookies. I appreciate you, big dog, for sending that care package. What up, friends and family? What's happening? What's happening? We got a long show today, so I hope y'all buckled up. I hope y'all ready for the ride. Shout out to my dog, Shawn. Before we get started with the show, can I get a mental health check in the chat? Can I get a mental health check in the chat before we get started with the show? It's another thing that I want to make sure that I do, but I'm going to go over that with the housekeeping. Can I get a mental health check in the chat? Shout out to Azriel, Messi, Trap. I got all my ladies in here today. What up, ladies? Mama Sadie's. Sabrina's in the building. What up, Messi? Y'all crazy. Let me get what y'all mental health check is like. Optimistic, good, busy, amazing, says Brandy. My ladies is on top of things. Glad I see why the fellas be simping out to y'all now. Before I start reading all of this and understand where y'all at, I see why the fellas be always simping out to y'all. Cause boy, oh boy, when you get the ladies on your team, they absolutely support you. So shout out to the ladies that's holding me down inside of the chat. My people, Anike. What up, Anike? Says amazing, good morning, lifted, blessed, glad, grateful. What up, sister? Sharon, Sabrina, great, pissed off. See, and the first fella that responds is pissed off. What up, though, the knobs? Yes, I got my white tee on. You feeling petty as hell, messy, contemplating, blessed, never stress fasting. Blessed, RoboCop, overwhelmed. Excellent, blessed, figuring it out, overwhelmed, juicy. What up, our streets? Good. Beasting. My girl Brittany B says fourth quarter earnings is great. Cautious. Yo. Jocelyn says, yo. Paid. Destroyed. Was laid off from your job yesterday. All right. So listen, General Meerkat. You shouldn't feel destroyed from being laid off from your job. It's a strong possibility that you was there too long anyway. Sometimes I think that we got to be forced out of it and we don't see the blessing that come from it. And so you got to come out of this optimistic. You can't come out of this feeling destroyed. You can't come out of this feeling like the world is against you or it's a problem or issue. My greatest victories came as a result of some of my most difficult times. If I didn't listen, it was devastating at the time when I got let go from the plant. It was never a better opportunity for me to leave. I had already been there too long. I had already made up in my mind that I was going in a different direction. And so although it made me uncomfortable at the time, it forced me to actually start to realize and manifest my dreams. Because then I started to actually put it in play. It's a lot of people that get real comfortable. They get a good job. They get something that's going on in their life and they stop pushing themselves. They stop growing. They stop becoming great. They stop doing great things. So look at this as an opportunity. This is not an opportunity for you to be sad or destroyed. This is great, bro. Like, get excited. Seriously. Get excited for everything. And we can break that down, but I'm telling you, when you get too comfortable in a place and you've been there for a long time or you've been there for longer than you should have been, it's not a devastating issue. It's an opportunity for you to grow. Trust me. I promise you, you're going to get to it, all right? What up to all of my friends and family? I'm sure that y'all feeling great this morning. We got Stock Club. Okay, let me get the housekeeping out of the way. We got Stock Club tonight. I'm anticipating that I'm probably going to do that at about 7 p.m. Let's do 7 p.m. Eastern Stock Club. So 7 p.m. Eastern Stock Club is 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, and then 4 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so Stock Club at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. We doing Stock Club. I'm gonna put the link up in the Patreon after this live stream. We got after hours tonight at 10 p.m. So we got a lot of work to do. And it's another thing that I want to make sure that I do before I promote the Patreon or our sponsor for the show today is I want to start highlighting content creators whose platform is not as big as mine. Right? As I ascend, and I know that I'm gonna continue to be a superstar. As I ascend, I want to make sure that I use my platform for as much good as possible for the people that I recognize, because I'm always discovering young, new, up and coming talent, and they may not have as much visibility. And sometimes you guys get discouraged because you're not getting the views that you feel like you deserve, or the people not tapping in, and you really great at what you do, and you start to try to water down the content and take shortcuts. Don't do that. Don't do that. You stay true to who you are, and your tribe will find you. And so, what I'm going to do starting tomorrow is I'm going to start picking and choosing as much as I possibly can when I spot a dope platform, or when I see somebody doing well, and a platform may not be as big as mine's. And if they just so happen to grow to be bigger than me, then I'm all for that, because I don't need anything from nobody. I'm not asking for anything from anybody, but I think that we need to put just as much positivity out into this world as highlighting the negativity. And so I want y'all to get this money. I want y'all to be successful. I'd rather you get the opportunity or you get the visibility than somebody that don't deserve it, or is not even as good as you, but they just got a gang of different supporters from other people that then just make them a part of the algorithm. So what I'm going to do is I'm always going to try to figure out different ways. And when I think about it, when I was in the shower this morning and I was thinking to myself, man, I like that platform or whatever. And actually, it's funny because the person that I'm going to highlight tomorrow that's on my heart, and I don't know for sure, but the person that I'm going to highlight tomorrow, that's on my heart to highlight their platform, when I first discovered them, when I first got wind of them and people sent me their stuff, they was actually talking negatively about me. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. They were talking negatively about me. And I guess because I watched the video, it popped up another video of theirs more recently, and this was a while ago, more recently popped up on my algorithm, and they was talking some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't have grudges in my heart. I don't hold things against people. I also understand that content is content, and as long as they didn't step out of the bounds of the rules of engagement, you know what I'm saying? As long as it ain't got nothing to do with anything that's outside of me and it stays on me, and the content that I put out, and you critique that, and if whatever that is, then no harm, no foul. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the rules of the game. That's what content is. People react to your stuff. I'm not tripping about that. But the person that I'm going to highlight tomorrow was actually talking negatively about me at one point. And I went and checked out their platform, and I think that they dope. Their platform hasn't grown probably as much as they would have liked it, but they did a video that I thought was dope, and so I want to highlight them tomorrow. And I want to use my platform to continue to big up content creators, because we all in the game together, and we all got to support each other, and we got love for each other. So as much as I possibly can be for the people, and as much as I possibly can use my platform for good, I'm not selfish. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not trying to prevent people from becoming successful. And so the people that love me, I'm going to love you back. And that's what we're going to do. All right. So tomorrow we're going to have a really, 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 really quick segment of highlighting some new content creator that I can bring visibility to. If I can big up y'all businesses, big up y'all platforms, whatever it is that y'all doing. I know how hard it is to get it out the mud. I know how hard you guys work, because I've been doing this for a long time. And so hopefully I can, have a little bit of impact in a positive way, in whatever way that I can, because it don't cost me nothing to shout you out. Hopefully I can have an impact in a positive way in you guys' lives and your platforms, or whatever it is that I can do. I'm always figuring out how I can pour back into the people, even if you're not a part of the Bag Chasers. All right. So if you are a part of the Patreon, and shout out to you, make sure you tap into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. Shout out to my sponsor, Teej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Ladies, get it for your fellas. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm not even going to wait till tomorrow. Give me a second. Why wait till tomorrow? Why wait until tomorrow when we can highlight it now? So give me a second. Let me figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me work. Give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna work. So this content creator in particular that I'm going to highlight today, his name is Detroit's HPTV. Detroit's HPTV. So this is the content creator that I want to highlight today, that I want to make sure that I give some visibility to. Because I think that his commentary and his thoughts, sometimes they may be different from mine, but I absolutely think that it's necessary. I think that he gives some good insight. I think that he'll be a great content creator one day. And again, his name is Detroit's HPTV. His name is DeAndre Calloway. That's his handle right there on YouTube. He got 2.28 subscribers, 2.28 thousand subscribers, 559 videos, a lot of shorts and things like that. So shout out to him. Make sure y'all go and check out his content. I'm not telling you to subscribe. But what I am telling you is that check out some of the stuff that he talks about. I think that he has some really interesting takes on some things. Some things I agree with, some things I don't. I do not know him in person. The first way that I discovered him, I actually did a video on After Hours addressing some of the things that people were saying about me, and he was one of the content creators. I've never talked to him. I don't have any kind of contact with him or whatsoever. But if you guys go out there and check out his content, if you like it, then make sure you let him know that I sent you. Also, on top of that, make sure that you guys give it an honest look. Just think about it. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't, then keep it moving, but let them know that I sent you. And shout out to him. Shout out to him. Kevin H says, yeah, his video came up in my algorithm yesterday. He was hating on you. We're not worried about that, right? We don't. Try not to focus so much on the negativity. If somebody says something negative about me, don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we forgive everybody. We're not tripping about it. I have things to say about other people that I don't necessarily agree with, right? But we're going to be objective and just make sure that we highlight smaller content creators. And then, you know what I'm saying? If y'all like them, subscribe. If y'all don't, then keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But I always want to just give some visibility to the people that, highlight certain things, and it just is what it is. So shout out to him. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, he continues to grow his channel and be successful, and he use it for good. And at some point, maybe he can pay it forward to somebody else, another content creator, if he ever, grows and becomes great and is going in another direction. All right. So let me go ahead and keep it moving. We're going to have to get to the show. Again, make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. We got Stock Club tonight. That's going to be a live stream. We got a lot to talk about. We got upcoming earnings seasons, all of the tech companies. I want to put y'all up on a stock that I've been paying attention to a lot, that I'm adding into my portfolio. I want to go into the hospitality industry, and we're going to break that down. So it's a lot that we need to talk about on the live stream for Stock Club. And if you have not watched the previous Stock Club, make sure you watch that, because I uploaded it from the last live stream so that you guys will be able to get the insights you need as we go into our investment series, and we break down the different things that's happening throughout the from our investment perspective, making sure that our portfolio is what it's supposed to be. All right, let's keep it moving. Y'all ready to get into the show? Y'all ready to get into the show? We got to do quick hits, y'all. We got to do quick hits. All right, let's go ahead and get it popping. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we think is necessary to bring you up to speed on what's happening throughout the industry and throughout the nation. But we don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time on it, so we're just going to do it one by one into Quick Hits. Let's get it popping. So, first and foremost, Jess Hilarious officially joins the Breakfast Club. Jess Hilarious joins the Breakfast Club. Take a look.
Where is Jess? Huh? I would think somebody like the Breakfast Club wouldn't need the clout chase. But knowing them, they probably want somebody light-skinned.
Well, I'm just with the message. My news is real.
Just hilarious.
Now comments on them saying these niggas is trash.
Y'all could have got somebody better than that. I'm not hating.
They don't give a damn about what she's done.
She made the announcement before it was even inked.
That third seat on the Breakfast Club was one of the most sought-after, coveted positions in hip-hop media.
Less hilarious. You were using that Breakfast Club to besmirch my name, speaking so negatively.
She ain't over there. She's back on the Monopoly board.
Jess, man, you gotta get more going on in your career.
I saw Jess Hilarious say she, got the role and stuff. Why did she say that?
They said you don't work there no more. Girl, did you get fired or not?
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off?
What happened to Jess Hilarious on the Breakfast Club?
They either didn't hire her or fired her.
The Breakfast Club just isn't what it used to be.
They can either choose to put a new 3 in there or kill the show off completely.
I think the Breakfast Club is over, man.
You cannot make an announcement. They have rollouts. Parties. They need to make this extravaganza.
Women empowerment.
And she did some Baltimore shit. They be going rogue.
She spoke too soon. She announced her move before her move was done, and now she's left with an egg on her face.
Lock it in, y'all. Jess Hilarious will not be the co-host of the Breakfast Club.
This is all just like one big hoax.
These niggas trash. This shit came off as if the two of them had something to do as to why she isn't a part of the Breakfast Club.
I'm sorry you didn't get the job, Les Hilarious.
Do you feel she called them out over not securing her spot as an official co-host?
This is giving me stunt, if you ask me.
So she officially debuts on the platform on February 5th, 2024. They use this as a media extravaganza or rollout strategy, I guess, to try to make it seem like, oh man, she quit in the Breakfast Club or she didn't really get the job. And Charlamagne and them, they played their role successfully in it and holding it down. And I thought that it was a good rollout and marketing strategy. Whoever did that video and edited that video, I think that they did a really good job. And then they played into it, right? She posted her little stuff on Instagram or a tweet and was like, yo, this is trash or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so they got people rolling and they got people talking about it. And then they did the rollout and stuff like this, right? And so I do think that she's better than Angela Yee. I think that she's a better host from what I've seen than Angela Yee. That's number one. Number two, I do think that the content still got to do what the content do. Right, I think that radio and large is dying. The Breakfast Club will be around, obviously, for an extended period of time. I think that they had a really good run at a time when they first started, when they was hungry. I'm not sure if they still got that. Congratulations to Jess Hilarious. It's some stuff that I don't care about as far as what it is that she do. I didn't like her on the Cam Newton platform, but I like her when she do stuff on a Breakfast Club. And that's what happens when you're objective. You're able to look at the good, you're able to look at the bad, and you assess it for what it is, right? So shout out to her and shout out to the Breakfast Club for actually having a halfway decent rollout for this whole situation and what it is that they got going on. In addition to that, Elon Musk has recently announced that Neuralink is going through human trials, and they actually did their first successful brain implant on a human being. Check it out.
This morning, a brain chip has been successfully implanted in a human, according to Elon Musk. The tech titan sharing a big breakthrough from his brain science startup company, Neuralink, saying it has implanted a device in a human for the first time, a possible step toward a product that Musk says enables control of your phone or computer and through them almost any device just by thinking.
Imagine the joy of connecting with your loved ones, browsing the web, or even playing games using only your thoughts.
Musk posting Monday, the first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. The initial results, he added, showed promising neuron spike detection. But Musk gave no additional details about the procedure, the patient, or the device the company implanted. Musk writing, initial users will be those who have lost the use of their limbs.
So they're trying to spin this and try to make it out to be like, okay, this is for people that have been disabled and lost their limbs or whatever, and this is going to be a good thing for them because they'll basically be able to think and then type and all of this stuff or whatever. But for me in particular, it's a no-go. It's always going to be a no-go. I'm always at the forefront I believe in technology. I believe in growth. I believe in change. I believe in embracing change a lot of times, even if I don't necessarily agree with it, because change is always going to be imminent. But the one thing that I will forever promise you, it's a lot of decisions that I've made in my life where I'm like, that might not have been the smartest decision. The one thing that I will promise you, I don't care if the whole world gets this implant. I don't care if somehow, some way that they convince you that it makes sense for you to be able to control everything and then they hack your brain. I don't care if it's a lot of conspiracy theories of whether or not this is the mark of the beast or not, right? I don't care how much of a fan I am of Elon Musk as far as his innovation and the second coming of Steve Jobs. One thing I guarantee you, and two things is for sure certain, is that I will never, and I repeat, never, and nobody in my household and nobody under my covering will ever be allowed to ever get a brain chip implant or any kind of implant of a chip on their body knowingly ever. That is where I draw the line. That is absolutely where I draw the line. I will never, under any circumstance, and nobody that is ever with me, I will put it in my trust when I leave and I die and I leave my stuff. Anybody that get a Neuralink or any kind of implant into their brain forfeits the possibility of ever getting anything that I leave behind. Flat out. Under no circumstance. And again, I am absolutely technology forward. I know that it's some stuff that we just got to embrace. AI, I don't like AI. I think that it can be useful, but I think that it's more downsized than positive, but it's just a part of it. But one thing that I'm never going to do, and I can never have, is anybody would ever put an implant inside of me. I know a lot of y'all be so excited to jump into it and do it, and you ready to crash out. Nah, not me. So for everybody that do it, good luck. God bless you. And then last but not least, Amazon Prime is now bringing ads to video. Take a look.
I'm really torn about this because I came up in an ad-supported business, and when cable cutting started happening, you could see the effect. Yeah. On the other hand, I'm an Amazon Prime member. What do I make of this ad business and what it means to the streamers and how much this is going to be the way it is moving forward?
Well, Amazon's coming into it with kind of from a different angle. So one, the ad load is noticeably lower than everyone else, and that's because they're starting out with so many of their users are going to be getting ads, the entire customer base, so they can afford to do it that way. But they're also coming in with a whole new group of buyers. So the thing about Amazon is the whole TV industry essentially goes after like 2,000 big advertisers. Amazon has a search advertising business on Amazon.com with hundreds of thousands of buyers, and they're bringing those ad buyers over to their TV business, and I think it's going to produce a significant amount of revenue from them,
and it is going to produce a significant amount of revenue. I watched Hulu for the first time in my life, like willingly, like me actually signing in and finding a series or whatever that I wanted to watch because somebody kept telling me, my daughter, Leslie kept telling me, Dad, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. And I'm like, what is it that I got to watch? And she was like, you got to watch Snowfall. You love The Sopranos. You love The Wire. You loved Breaking Bad. Those are your favorite series of all time. You got to watch Snowfall. So I said, what is it on? So I went and searched it out. It was on Hulu. So I went and downloaded Hulu or whatever, and we signed up or whatever. And then I started seeing ads, and I said, what is this, regular TV? Is this regular TV? Oh, no. I started seeing ads. I said, we got to get rid of these ads. How do we upgrade? How do we upgrade? So there is always going to be a segment that looks to balance the user experience with making more money. Even Netflix is running ads for a lower tier, I believe, right now. And they swimming in money. They really get into the bag. So I think that Amazon has a large enough user base to where they're going to generate a lot of revenue as a result of it. But if I got to actually sit through ads, you can forget it. I'll just use my ads, my Amazon Prime to get packages or whatever like that. But under no circumstances am I ever going to waste my time looking at ads from Amazon or any platform that I pay for. And that's the key. If you're paying for a service, then that's when I decide I don't want to, I'm not going to pay you to show me ads. That's absolutely out of the question. Now, I understand in order for me to watch something for free, y'all, a lot of y'all are watching the Millionaire Morning Show for free. Some of y'all are getting ads. Some of y'all are not because you got the upgraded version of the premiere on YouTube or whatever. Some of y'all are watching this on Facebook and you getting ads. You watching it for free. It's nothing that you can complain about, all right? But if I'm paying for a service, I'm not watching no ads. So that's just me. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right, let's get these ads, these super chats busting. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the show. Let me make sure I acknowledge the Cash Appers too. Got to acknowledge my Cash Ash. Christopher Mayberry is in the building. Shout out to you. Says, have you ever bought any gold bars? No, I have not ever bought any gold bars. I'm not an investor in gold and precious metals outside of whatever it is that you see on my watch. I'm just, it's not my thing. I'm not into it. I need my stuff to actually be moving and doing stuff. I'm not a fan of it. Nathan Palmer says for the donation. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. Mike That Dude is my guy. You know Mike That Dude is always in the building. Shout out to Mike That Dude. And Mr. DJ. This DJ, he gets down, making records go round and round. That's that Warren G. Don't worry about it. A lot of y'all not familiar with Warren G's first album. Shout out to Warren G. Shout out to Mr. DJ. I appreciate you. Let me get some of these super chats in here. First and foremost, I always gotta acknowledge my greatest student up to this point of all time. Anton, I had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast yesterday. Wait until you see what I accomplish in the next few months. Just watch me. This guy's not slowing down. I'm telling you, Shawn is so dedicated that I think that he's going to probably overtake me at some point in the amount of money that he's generating and making. And he's much younger than me. He's great at what he does. Shout out to Shawn, man. I think that this might be my greatest student yet. My greatest student from nothing to something yet. And a lot of y'all are familiar with the story, but shout out to Shawn. This is quite possibly one of my best students of all time. Lester's AMG says, good morning, Anton. Just wanted to let you know I finally asked a big question on vacation last week. Thank you for all of your wisdom, big dog. Shout out to all of my Canadian brethren. See, we get people married over here at the Millionaire Morning Show in the Anton Daniels Bag Chaser. Shout out to my chasers. Enos Luby says, damn, your video looking crisp and clean. Well, we don't do nothing but take care of doing it the best, right? Anton is in the gym, taking care of business. I got to make sure that my camera work is straight, no matter if I'm working from home. Got the best equipment, taking care of all of that. Yeah. Shout out to Enos Luby. Life of Sconey, my dog. Shout out to my dog. Says, fascinating seeing your brain at work. I bet you were thinking during the teach pitch. Fellas, don't wait on your ladies. and thought, why wait yourself on promoting that guy? Salute to Anton, you a gym. Thank you to my friend, my dog, and forever my homie over there in the Chi-Town, Life of Sconey. Make sure y'all go and check out his platform. Buster's Outlaws 2 says, I have some music videos. If you can watch them, that would be great. You can roast them. The videos don't mean much. I care more about the music. Let me tell you something, Buster. Don't send me anything unless it's your best work. If I was an artist and if I was a person that was doing music, I would absolutely be dedicated to mastering my craft. I would not drop one song. I would drop a song every week, and every song would come with an accompanying video that I shot and I put my best into it. Like, if you're going to go into it, then you need to make sure that you put your all in it. Whatever you do as a content creator, I'm going to put my best into it. I'm never going to do anything. I'm going to do everything. If I'm an artist, I'm dropping a song a week, and on top of that, I'm making sure that I provide the visuals that go along with it. I'm going to put the best music available there. I'm going to make sure I get the best people to work with me, and I'm always going to be working on my visuals and making sure that I run it up. So don't send it to me yet. Don't send it to me yet until you got it together, big dog. Shout out to Spaces. Spacer says, this chip sounds like the Manchurian Candidate. I wouldn't doubt it, man. Listen, I wouldn't doubt it at all. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications if you have not already, because you know it's about to get sticky. sticky. We got Stock Club tonight. Got After Hours tonight. If you did not watch the show last night from the Q Show, make sure you go watch that on the Anton Daniels channel. We got to go ahead and get started with the show. So I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. The first thing that we want to address is what's going on across the country. Now, we got a couple different things that we want to talk about. I had a lot to pick from. So I didn't want to go all Chicago today because then y'all going to be acting like I'm picking on Chicago, even though Chicago was doing some crazy stuff out here in these streets. I didn't want to go all Chicago today, but I got to keep y'all informed. Before we get to the money, before we get to the positivity, I got to keep y'all informed of what's happening across the country, all right? Let's get into it.
Overnight, a food delivery driver was shot to death in his car in Englewood.
Glenn Marshall is live at the District 7 police station with more. Good morning, Glenn.
Hey, good morning, guys. Now, that driver was able to tell police he heard gunfire and felt pain on his body. Now, police are looking for his killer after he was killed. Now, police are saying it happened around 6:30 last night near the 57th and Sangamon corner in the Englewood neighborhood. We're told the 53-year-old delivery food driver was headed northbound on Sangamon when he says he felt pain after hearing gunshots. And that man kept driving and then struck a parked vehicle. He was taken to UFC's emergency room where it was determined that he had the gunshot wound to his chest. He also later died from those injuries. As of right now, no one has been placed in custody, but police are asking for your help. If you have any information that could lead to an arrest, they would like you to contact them immediately. And I'm live here in Englewood. I'm Glenn Marshall, WGN News.
Now, let's take a moment and recognize this man's family and all of the hard work that a lot of these people go through on a regular basis. One of my biggest concerns when I opened up my first restaurant, and I built it from scratch, and I built it for my father, and then he passed away prior to me actually opening up the restaurant, but I finished it after he passed away, and we ran it until we was able to get out of the lease because it wasn't for me in the first place. And I had other things that I wanted to accomplish and do that was outside of running that on a day-to-day basis. One of my biggest concerns with opening up a restaurant, especially in an environment and in areas where people say, oh my God, they treat us like animals. It's systematic. Look at all of this plexiglass in the bars and stuff, is I wanted to give an experience to people that was best for them. No bars, no plexiglass, no nothing, right? And so I did that. But I was very, very concerned every single day, not only with my own safety, because I was a public figure, right? And I was using my platform in order to generate more visibility for the business, which worked out beautifully. And I remember on opening day, I actually slept that weekend for about 3 hours total over a period of 3 days because we were so busy and the line was just wrapped around the building. And that's what they call the honeymoon phase. And that was the first time that I wound up getting my CPL. I had to get a gun license and I had to start carrying legally, because I was closing up and I had to shut things down, and I would always go up there and check on the people. I wouldn't just have them do a safe drop. I would also make sure that I went up and I checked on the people and I brought people with me to make sure that we closed up almost every single night without any issues, right? And it was just like frightening. It was frightening to think of what could happen to my employees if anybody was to run up in there and try to rob it, because we had people steal, we had employees steal. We had people take stuff out of the back door. I had a dude that came in because our call-in wasn't a regular phone. It was actually an iPhone. So we had a customer steal an iPhone, and then we put it out on Facebook. And then his mama made him bring it back because it was a young knucklehead, and he didn't want me to put the footage out because he didn't know that I was really out here on the internet like that, right? And he didn't want to become a sucker and forever live in infamy as a result of just stealing an iPhone. But it was one of the most dangerous things. And so we don't really take into consideration a lot of the stuff that these people are doing just to feed their family, just to make some extra dollars, just to be able to get people their food. A food delivery driver in Chicago, and I've been covering this for well over a month now, how Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, delivery drivers, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, all of these platforms, you know, they open up these services in these environments, and I know a lot of people don't even know. A lot of the drivers that I take, they don't even go into certain neighborhoods no more. One guy said that he drove by, and it was an abandoned house, and it was trying to get, he was like, man, I'm not stopping, and he just kept going. Went straight through the stop sign and everything. Be very, very careful. Nobody should be losing their life as a food delivery driver trying to deliver some DoorDash over to somebody's crib, and then you just get a random shot, and then you just die after you talk to the police. That's unreasonable. It's unreasonable. It's unconscionable. Like, it doesn't make sense. Are we so evil that y'all just peeling off shots at the DoorDash guy for no reason? You don't even know him? He go to deliver some food over somebody's house over on the south side of Chicago, and that's just the end of his life? And then y'all want to complain about what's going, because we know, look, the police ain't never catching nobody in Chicago. One thing that we see on a regular basis is that regardless of how many DoorDash drivers get shot, no matter how many carjackings that they are, the police is so busy trying to get the migrants out of the Chicago Police Department, and they ain't never catching nobody. Yet we got Brandon Johnson. Don't worry, we're going to bring him to the front of the congregation today. Yet we got Brandon Johnson calling these large gatherings and is refusing to address the issues and understaffing and underfunding these initiatives, especially when it comes to the safety of our police officers and our residents. Yet we throwing billions of dollars at migrants. We'll get there. But that's just Chicago specifically. Over in Atlanta, it's a little different.
Release from Atlanta police involving an 11-year-old shot several times.
Atlanta News First anchor Savannah Louie is at the First Alert Breaking News Desk with more on this. Savannah.
Blair, Tracy, right now, Atlanta police need your help identifying 3 suspects who have been involved in the shooting of an 11-year-old. I want to show you some new video. This just into Atlanta News First here. This shows the moments that an 11-year-old was running from 3 male suspects on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. That victim who was found by those 3 suspects who started shooting, then hitting him twice. The victim was taken to the hospital. And again, I know this video is a little bit difficult to see here, but take a close look. Police are hoping this is the video here that will help them catch those suspects. You see them right here on your screen.
So you see the 11-year-old in the upper left-hand corner, right? And then you see the 3 suspects. Now they shooting in the air like this or whatever, and they just so happen to hit an 11-year-old. And they searching for the suspects. They searching for the suspects of the shooting. Now, this is Atlanta. Walking past a busy thoroughfare, throwing shots up in the air, shooting at an 11-year-old. That was an 11-year-old. An 11-year-old. Keep y'all kids safe, man. Keep your kids safe. If you can get them out of these school systems, get them out of there. If you can get them out of these liberal cities, then get them out of there. If you can get them out of these crime-ridden environments, don't let nobody tell you that you're not keeping them real. Get them out of there. Get your kids out of there, bro. We grew up in some really messed up environments, and we didn't know no better. But we know better now. And ain't nobody telling. Ain't nobody calling the police. Ain't nobody helping the police capture whoever it is. I'm sure that it's somebody that looked at themselves on this whole news thing, and they was wishing for their op to be gone, and they op just so happened to be an 11-year-old boy, which means that it's a strong possibility that whoever it is that these people are doing the shooting on Martin Luther, look. It's on Martin Luther King Drive in Atlanta. The shooting, how ironic. Didn't even recognize that until I seen it at the bottom of the screen. The shooting is on Martin Luther King Drive in Atlanta. How can y'all hold other people accountable for what you're doing to yourself? Every Martin Luther King Drive that I done been down, every one of them, including here in Detroit, at some point, well, one in Detroit, it seemed like it's cleaning up pretty well. But everyone that I'd have never been down has been trashed. Every Martin Luther King Drive. I think it's one in Daytona Beach. They got a Martin Luther King Drive. And it's toe up. But here's the key. When you leave these major cities and you walk away and you try to do something better, stop trying to take your dumb cultural habits with you. Don't nobody want to see y'all bad attitudes and y'all You trying to make sure that you go and you change. They shouldn't be banning me from my hair. No, no, no. You need to assimilate. I know that they don't want to hear this. People gonna get mad at me. Oh, Anton, user this, user that. Listen, fam. What you doing ain't working. Trump told y'all that when he first ran. He said, listen, I know y'all may not like me, except for the hip hop community when it was feeling me. He said, listen, y'all schools is messed up. Y'all neighborhoods is toe up. Why don't we try it my way? Why don't we try something different? Or y'all gonna continue to do the same thing that y'all been doing for the last 50 to 60 years? Y'all gonna still do the same thing y'all been doing for the last 50 to 60 years. Don't leave and then bring your bad voting habits, your bad habits, your weed smoking, messing up the community, don't want to pay your bills, always got your trash out late, yelling at the delivery driver, messing up what's going on in school, being ghetto everywhere, twerking, turning things upside down, yelling at the teachers. We don't want your culture. We don't want your culture. We want good neighbors that do the right thing, that's not arguing and fighting, that is going to call the police if they see somebody driving their property values down. But that's not it. Over in Compton, they got the same thing. It's a bunch of other stuff going over there. But they did a street takeover in multiple different places.
Yes, we're outside the Compton Sheriff's Station, but to be fair, these were happening all over South LA. They even had one on the 6th Street Bridge. But it is here in Compton that they ended up with 4 people shot, and where people are telling us they're tired. This is happening almost every weekend. Take a look at this. Security video shows people removing license plates before joining the street takeover you see on the corner of the camera view at Atlanta and Alondra in Compton. Just one of several street takeovers in Compton and South LA, including this one on Alondra and Central, where Compton sheriffs say shots were fired. 4 people transported to local hospitals.
It is out of control. I don't understand these kids. And we were all just standing there like, so we're coming down this street now?
Tia Walker describing how vehicles fleeing from officers at one of the takeovers were speeding down their residential streets.
I know there's no easy solution to it, but I know that the solution is not to do nothing.
Walker lives just blocks away from where this happened last April. A takeover and looting at the Arco on Alondra and
Does this look like a large gathering to you guys? A large, peaceful gathering of youth that are masked up, of all races and creeds, black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian. They're all out there. They're all out there. Because the culture is not just based off of what's black. The culture is just what's trash. It's the things that we celebrate the most.
Central. That's not too far from Reuben's Bakery, which was also looted after a street takeover earlier this month. Investigators did announce arrests, but Walker echoes many area residents with this point.
There was the press conference. There was a lot of promises made. Those promises were forgotten within a couple months, and then we were back to just listening to endless takeovers.
There's already been at least one death in Compton. 27-year-old Raymond Olivares killed last year. The engineer was on a walk with his fiancée when they were hit by a vehicle that, according to investigators, was fleeing from law enforcement responding to a takeover. Residents around here say they fear there will be more.
You know, when those cars are speeding, they can lose control, and that's it.
You do know that for all of y'all that think that this is cool and all of this, and for all of the parents that let their kids go out and they don't even know where they at and all of that, it only take one mistake. You basically driving a 3,000 to 4,000 pound missile. It's literally a missile down the street. You know, I drive with my daughter every day. Every day, I wake up, I take her to school, and I let her drive because she gets her license next month. And I let her drive, and I'm giving her game, and I'm guiding her. Today is snowing, and it was a little slippery, so I forced her to put it in the slippery mode. And You know, in certain parts, you switch it over into 4-wheel drive. And I said, it's funny because I was telling her this morning, and I said, hey, Les, I said, you got to be careful. And she said, oh, no, Dad, I'm doing everything right. I said, I know. I said, you did everything perfectly. But one thing that you didn't do is that you wasn't situationally aware of what they were doing over there. And she said, well, that was their fault. You know, it's their fault that they doing it. I said, I know. But that's going to be your car and your life. Meaning that you got to be now just as situationally aware of how crazy everybody else around you, just as much as you are aware of what it is that you got going on. That's why I gave up my motorcycle, because I couldn't risk my life knowing that everybody is on their phone, and there was too many people that tried to run me over or wasn't paying attention because they was on their phone or they was listening to their music too loud and they didn't see me. So you learn to become a defensive driver. In a vehicle, you now have to become a defensive driver. I'm teaching my daughter to become a defensive driver. Hey, anticipate how fast they coming up to that light. Hey, it's slippery. And these people that's all in these pickup trucks and they got this 4-wheel drive, usually they get overconfident because they think that they're better than the regular cars that's going slower. And so they go a little too fast. So you got to watch out for them Jeeps. And you got to watch out for that pickup truck because they going too fast. They not being situationally aware, right? And when it comes to these car meets, I know a lot of y'all think that it's cool, but let me tell you something. I've seen plenty of guys get their cars hit. I've seen people get their cars impounded. I've seen guys run away from the police and kill somebody. I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime. For those of y'all that's familiar over here in Detroit, y'all know what them Dearborn car meets are. And then you go over to certain neighborhoods in Detroit and stuff, and we didn't know no better. We was idiots. We was dumb. But now that we know better, I don't want y'all to experience some of the same problems and issues and trouble that we went through. And then you going to go home and act like everything is cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. You messing up somebody's life and you possibly going to take somebody else's life. A guy walking down the street with his fiance, and then all of a sudden he get hit by a car that's fleeing from the police, from a bunch of idiots that don't even realize how bad it is, and they've been watching and playing too much GTA. This is real life, man. These is real people. Y'all can't even control your cars on GTA. Y'all be hitting people in the game. You can't control that in real life. But everything is cool. Everything is culturally appropriate. All Anton, they just kids. No, they're going to kill somebody. And then you're going to have to be responsible for it because you're going to be saying, pray for my baby. And I'm going to be like, send them to jail and throw away the key. Let me read a couple of these super chats. Shout out to my dog, Five Brown, in the building. Says, yo, Anton, if you remember our first coaching call, of course I do. Last March, I had $58,000 balance on my $60,000 limit card. You grounded me up saying, get rid of the debt. You're giving to the bank free money. That's a fact, and interest at the highest interest rates. Just received my statement in January with a zero balance. Thank you. I don't think people realize how bad I cuss out my guys sometimes. And I don't even realize that I'm going to do it. But when y'all not focused sometimes, and shout out to Five Brown, because Five Brown is very, very focused. He runs multiple different businesses. He's generating a lot of revenue and income. But he was sitting there, sitting on a lot of debt for the sake of sitting on debt, talking about, Anton, I'm about to go buy this, I'm about to go buy that. I said, don't you buy another mother effing thing. Not another thing. And man, listen, I go off on my guys when they not doing what they supposed to do. I get on my guys because I know that they can do better. I get on my guys and then they get themselves together. And so I'm not here for y'all to like me. I'm here to get the results that I need to get. Lance Russell is in the building, says, how can these people even afford to live in California when $100,000 people saying it's too expensive? They all got roommates, bro. Everybody or most people that's over in California that I ran into, they got other people living in their house with them. I'm just telling you. Everybody in Cali, it seemed like they got roommates. Time to go vigilante play? Man, listen, bro. Shout out to Chris Moore. MyFi is in the building, says, facts, AD, safe driving is defensive driving. Always account for the idiots. That's why daughters need fathers in their lives to teach them what's going on. Devastator says, as a car enthusiast, I hate takeovers. And why don't they just go to the track? That's what we started doing when we started getting to the money and started racing our cars. We started going to the track. Ton, they are setting us up for us to be under martial law. Who is they? Us? We setting us up? Or house arrest? It's crazy that I used to think that this was cool because use of you, I don't. Because of you, I don't. Shout out to Thrax G. I appreciate you. We setting us up to be under martial law. And we probably should be, especially over in some of these environments. Let's continue, y'all. So, how is these wrong? Give me a second. I updated that. 4, 5. All right, here we go. That should be better. So, I recently did last week, I revealed to y'all that the UAW Shawn Fain was speaking on behalf of all of their members, including the ones that they have yet to unionize that they're working on for all of these other plants. That Shawn Fain recently endorsed Joe Biden for president of the United States of America. Again, Shawn Fain, who is the president of the UAW, shout out to my girl Brittany in the chat, is now embracing and endorsing on behalf of the UAW Joe Biden for president because Biden made a stop down there and he was like, oh my God, make sure that y'all pay him a fair wage. And he got on the bullhorn and that was the end of it. And then Trump was like, listen, this guy is a dope. Don't listen to him or anything like that. And so Shawn Fain, in his quest for more power and visibility, we've never seen a union leader for the UAW in modern times be this visible. I've never even known the union president's names outside of when it was I was a part of the union as normal everyday people. And this guy is on a quest for power, in my opinion. I do not think that in any way, shape, or form that he is not going to eventually make another play, whether he becomes a part of somebody's cabinet or he runs for something. But this guy is one of the most famous UAW presidents that I've ever seen in my entire life. But he went on another platform, I believe it was CNN or MSNBC. He went on another platform to address CNN, liberal platform. But I like to use different news sources in order to react to and show you guys what's going on out in these streets. He went on to CNN to give his assessment of why he thinks that Trump is absolutely positively not fit to be president and why Biden, conversely, should continue to get another term, considering everything that he's done for the American people, including raising up inflation, opening up our borders, so on and so forth. But I'll let you tell it. I'll let him tell it out of his own mouth, and then we'll break it down as we go. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Also, Tej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Thank you, Tej. And then last but not least, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get to it, y'all.
New tonight, Trump's latest target, a president of the United Auto Workers, the target of 2 verbal assaults within hours of each other from the former president. Trump posting today in part, quote, Shawn Fain is a weapon of mass destruction on auto workers and the automobile manufacturing industry in the United States. All auto workers should, all caps, vote for Trump. Just hours earlier, Trump bashed Fain by saying this: he's a real, all caps, stiff, who is selling the automobile industry right into the big, powerful hands of China. Get rid of this dope and vote for DJT. Trump admitting his initial attack was because of this interview where Fain did not hold back in explaining why he has chosen to endorse Biden instead of Trump.
Can I give myself a round of applause also for making sure that the audio is what it's supposed to be on these platforms, because all of these news platforms, audio, be trash. So what we had to do is take some extra time as a platform and make sure that we update every single piece of video and audio and make it better than it was that the news is presenting it, because apparently whoever their editors are or whatever it is, team that they got that's uploading this stuff and then putting it on these platforms don't know how to manage and get the optimization out of the audio and the video to have it clear, to have it concise, and to get exactly what it is that you need to get out of it. So we had to raise the audio levels and then balance it and do it differently so that the live viewers could get it, not just the people that get it afterwards in clips. All right, so shout out to me, shout out to the people that's out here behind the scenes that's working. One of the things that we got on our Kanban board, fix audio for sources of whatever clips that you use for the platform, but we gonna get there. Y'all need to get y'all editing together, bro. Let's get back to Shawn Fain.
Donald Trump has a history of serving himself and standing for the billionaire class, and that's contrary to everything that working class people stand for.
Shawn Fain is out front now. So, Shawn, Donald Trump says you are a weapon of mass destruction, that you are a stiff, and that you are a dope, said all those things today. What do you even, how do you even respond to that?
Well, thanks for having me, Aaron. First off, the weapon of mass destruction against the automotive industry has been two words: corporate greed. Uh, you know, this is Trump. Trump always resorts to name calling because the facts are very clear, and he doesn't want to talk about the truth. He talks about what during his presidency the phrase came out: alternative facts, or what we all call lies. He wants to make this election about anything but real issues, and this isn't about me or Donald Trump. I don't care what Donald Trump says about me. I don't care what he thinks about me. I care about facts. And the facts are very clear for the large majority of Americans. The working class people have been left behind by Trump's billionaire class, by the billionaire buddies, and the economy that only works for the wealthy. And you look, 1970. I read this the other day from the Economic Policy Institute.
Yep.
From 1979 to 2022, the top 0.1% of wage earners wages increased 344%. The bottom 90% increased 32%. So this is an economy that Trump dreams of. This is what he wants. He doesn't give a damn about working class people, and that's what this is all about.
So his narrative, and I agree, DK, he is very, very good at what he does, because to the naked eye, or to people that are not bag chasers, or to people that has not been watching the Millionaire Morning Show for an extended period of time, this sounds good to you. It's easy talking points. It's so easy that a D student, even somebody that is a lower class of student than me, a lifetime C student, somebody that is a D student, it's easy for you to even understand what he's communicating. And so he rails off these same talking points, and they're very clear, they're very concise, and I got to give him a round of applause for his ability to communicate what he's thinking. But guess what? He's wrong. He's absolutely wrong. I would have you to know that the majority of the people that become millionaires, because there's on average 1,700 new millionaires inside of the United States of America every single day. That's a fact. 1,700 new millionaires inside of the United States on average every single day. So let's first dispel this myth that it can't be you. Because these people are not becoming millionaires just because they're doing anything unique. They're becoming millionaires because they're disciplined, they're focused, they continue to make the investments in the things that actually matter instead of buying things to impress people that don't care anything about them. Often at times, the majority of these millionaires are not white people. Guess who they are? Minorities and people that eventually immigrated over here, that worked hard, that got a different cultural or set of principles, that don't then lean into the same thing that we care about, because the only thing that they care about is working, getting rich, and then making sure that their people continue to be successful. They shack up with each other. They don't live these extravagant lifestyles until they get to the point to where their money can then make money on top of money. They help each other. They all room together. They all live in the same space together. They got communal living. They got a different mindset. They help each other. They don't buy things that don't matter. They stay down long enough till they can actually live the life that they want to live. They actually put their children through college. Think about it. Most of these countries, such as over in China, right, they are very strategic. Yet these are the people that are the international students that come over here, pay the highest in tuition. They even pay higher than out-of-state children. They pay the highest in tuition. They save their entire lives to put one or two people on the map, and then they leverage the information, they study their butts off, and then they ultimately become successful, because it's not about how much you make. At no point in society, in no country in history, is it all about you earning your way to wealth. There are plenty of athletes that make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. There's plenty of entertainers that make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars every single day. And on average, they are filing for bankruptcy within 7 years after leaving the league. On average, they are filing for bankruptcy after leaving the league, right? And so it's easy to spill off these and your billionaire buddies narrative. But at the same time, you're not asking for solutions. You think that you can tax your way to wealth. You think that you can save your way to wealth. You think that it's based off of the earnings that you get. But what they're also not telling you is that as much as you continue to protest your way out of a job, We've seen the restaurants over there in California now operating without even a person in there, not a person in sight. They got a mechanical engineer that come in there to program the machines. That's it, right? As much as you continue to protest your way out of the job, we see that the UAW's ranks is getting smaller, and one of the reasons why it's getting smaller is because they have to go out there and advocate for and try to unionize other shops in order to grow their ranks. They now starting to get into different industries, the casino industry, all these other places, because their rank and file is not growing based off of the prospects of job growth. It's growing based off of trying to unionize other places in order to get them to pour into their coffers, right? And so your life choices and your life circumstances is always going to determine what success looks like for you. 100% of the time. Most people and most millionaires are made from new millionaires. The people that get it handed to them, 9 times out of 10, they fumble it because they never understood what it took in order to get there. Now, of course, you're going to have the Waltons and people like that, right? Those are the anomalies. That's not the norm. That's not normal. That's not the norm. I'm telling you, there's people that worked in the plant that ultimately became millionaires based off of their life decisions. Because it's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with the money that you keep. But let's continue to hear what he got to say.
Right. So one thing that he is connecting with in some way is a sentiment that at least has grown within unionized households, right? And that is a shift over time politically. You've admitted this yourself, Shawn. You said there are rank and file members of the UAW that Trump does appeal to. Our Harry Anton was looking at some numbers. And what I'm referring to is a shift over time in overall union member vote towards the Republican, right? Still plus Democrat, okay? But there's been a shift, right, Shawn? So in 1948, it was 62 points, plus 62 Democrat. 1992, that had been cut in half to 31. And by 2020, it was down to 22% advantage for Democrats. Still an advantage, but that's obviously a massive erosion.
So over time, as people become more mature and they get more information, what this is basically telling you is that the rank and file within the UAW and all unions in general have trended to become more Republican. They're leaning more towards conservatives instead of being liberals, because as they age and as they become more mature, they realize, wait a minute, I have to establish what my norm is based off of what the best candidate is and what their policies are, and not just voting this way just because Shawn Fain said it. She's pushing back. I actually can appreciate the fact that she's pushing back while allowing him to say whatever it is that he's saying. Very rarely do you get this on CNN.
Why do you think it is that many of your members do not see this the way that you do?
Well, look, I'll say this is it's been a masterful plan by the billionaire class and the corporate class.
See, now when he actually gets stats and data that says otherwise from whatever his talking point is, and I'm gonna let him finish. When he gets a different perspective, when in panic, and when you start to get it a little bit differently, the thing that you want to do is always go back to your original talking point. But wait a minute. It's because it's the billionaires. It's the buddies. It's the goody club. Listen, it's a masterful plan, and it's being executed on all of us, and we just don't get it. All of my rank and file members don't necessarily see what it is that I see, and it's a massive. Listen, it's still there. It's their fault. It's the systems. I never thought a day in my life that I would start seeing a good old-fashioned white man saying that it's the system that's being perpetuated against them, in the same way that I started seeing black people that's running in the Victim Olympics. Never a day in my life. Listen, if my grandfather was here to see this today, he'd be rolling over in his grave that we seeing this good old full-haired, white-beard white man that's a part of the union, the working class, sitting here telling us that it's the system that's being perpetuated against us by the plan of the billionaires. They're saying the same thing that the Victim Olympics black people are saying. They're saying the same thing, literally, word for word. They've taken y'all talking points and they've leveraged it against y'all. Don't y'all know that white women is considered a minority now? They're considered a minority. If you're a black woman, then you're a double minority. But if you're a white woman, you're still a minority. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that white women were a part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda. Call her Karen if you want to. She got better benefits than you. She's just as powerful as a black man, because you just You're black. That's your minority status. The fact that you're a man does not make you a double minority. What makes you a minority as a white woman is that you're a woman. They're using the same talking points as y'all. Literally, they're using the same talking points as y'all. Hey, Shawn, can you answer that question? Let me get back to what she was saying.
Many of your members do not see this the way that you do.
Well, look, I'll say this is it's been a masterful plan by the billionaire class and the corporate class. I mean, they, over the last 40, 50 years of our lives, have played the greatest game they always play, and that's divide and conquer. They divide the masses over single issues, and meanwhile, they run away with all the money, all the profits, and things get worse for us. You know, what we have to do as organized labor, we have to lead the fight, and we have to lead the dialogue with facts. And that's why our contract campaign was so successful with the big three. That's why 75% of Americans sided with us in that fight, because we were focused on the things that matter most to working class people: wages, better wages, retirement security, healthcare, better healthcare for everybody, and getting our time back. You know, it's shameful through all of this. You know, working class people are working harder and longer than we ever have. They're working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
On easier jobs than we ever have, and making more money than you ever have in your entire life. Double time, triple time. Machines are doing all of the work. See, what they're not going to tell you, in the context that they're not going to add into this conversation, is that the jobs are easier than they ever have been in life. At no point have these jobs been easier than they have been at this time in history. Yet they'll complain about how difficult it is to do their job because we working longer than we ever have. It's BS. It's all BS. It's 100% BS. That's why the robots are coming. The robots are coming. The robots are coming to replace your jobs. The robots are coming. The robots are coming. The robots are coming to replace your jobs. Because, see, the robots ain't going to complain about it. They just going to keep that hydraulic press going. Make sure that you got all those fluids in there. Make sure that you program it correctly. Throw a couple AI chips in there. Bing, 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 bing. The robots are coming.
Working multiple jobs, and they're scraping to get by. That's the economy Donald Trump loves. That's the economy that the billionaire class loves. And it doesn't work for working class people. And I think when we focus on the core issues that matter most to working class people, we'll see a difference in how the election goes.
So, Shawn, I know that you did not, you had ruled out meeting with Trump, but the Teamsters Union is not doing that. They've got 1.3 million members, right? Massive union. Trump is meeting with union members and leaders this week. There's a event he's hosting on Wednesday. Earlier this month, he met with the head of the Teamsters Union at Mar-a-Lago. Do you have any feel for how this is going? Do you know the head of the Teamsters Union? Do you think that he could be getting their endorsement?
Look, I've talked to Shawn O'Brien. I respect Shawn O'Brien. He's a good leader. And look, they've had good success in that union, done great things. And, I'm not going to try to even speak for what their decision is. All I can speak for is from our perspective and what we've seen and the facts we've seen. And it's really clear for us. It's a very clear picture when you put the two candidates side by side. I mean, you go back to the economic recession. Joe Biden stood with the American worker. Donald Trump blamed the American worker. He blamed the workers for everything that was wrong with the big three back then. Joe Biden gave us a path forward. You go to when Trump was president in 2019, Lordstown Assembly Plant in Ohio was slated to close. Trump blamed the local president, told people don't sell your houses, and did nothing. In 2019, when GM was on strike, what did Donald Trump, then the president, say? He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything.
Don't we want a separation between government and private businesses or public businesses? Aren't y'all powerful? Ain't that what y'all wanted? So Biden get out there with a bullhorn, and then that's how he got y'all endorsement? See, the Teamsters are smarter. The Teamsters is like Ice Cube. The Teamsters is like, listen, I want to meet with everybody and see what people are saying. I don't want nobody to just give me no empty promises. I actually want to meet with people and see what the path forward is, because we understand that the economy is changing and the Chinese is coming and BYD cars is coming and they're going to up in the industry completely, and you can't continue to have the same mindset and the same talking points going forward, thinking that the pathway to being successful with the UAW is just to go and unionize a bunch of other plants. That's not going to work, big dog.
In 2023, Joe Biden, when we were on strike, He came out and stood with the workers. He joined us on the picket line. You know, Belvedere Assembly Plant in Illinois was slated for closure in 2023. That community was written off for dead.
Yeah.
Joe Biden worked with us to not just get one plant. We got that plant revived and another plant to be built there and save the community. So there's a stark contrast in these candidates.
Let me hear the rest of what he's saying.
Biden has spent a lifetime serving others and serving the working class. Donald Trump spent a lifetime serving himself.
So that's good old Biden, the greatest politician of all time. Never mind the crime bill. Never mind some of the things that's happened in the past. Never mind what happened during the Obama administration. None of that stuff. Biden is for the people. He can't even get his own son in order, but he's for the people. No worries, no worries. Shout out to Shawn Fain for providing me with the great content. And as long as these people are continuing to put out content, as long as they standing on what they standing on, you know what we're going to do at the Millionaire Morning Show? We're going to make sure that you guys are informed. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to get over to the migrant crisis, ladies and gentlemen. Got to get to the migrant crisis because I heard that Governor Greg Abbott was still standing on business. Professor X is standing on business. While Mayor Mohawk, don't worry about it, we get there. Stream King Sneakers and Apparel is in the building, says, yo, Tom, the Millionaire Morning Show is my Good Morning America, and they not effing with us. Listen, they got all of the promotion, but we coming. We's coming. And we going to do it independently. Now, Good Morning America can come over here and give me my $30 million, or they can continue to let us continue to take market share from them every single day, because the people going to realize this is where all of the good content is. Mr. Undisputed says, imagine supporting a president who is having illegals come in, allowing the corporations to replace you with them, hypocrite. But listen, only thing that matters is the optics, baby. It's the optics, baby. SS29 says, unions destroyed the steel mills. Hold on. And much of our auto industry. Nothing is made here because of unions. The iPhone would be $6,000 if it were made by us. Yes, and I know this for a fact because I worked in the steel industry when it was owned by American companies. Ford Motor Company spinned it off, and it wound up becoming Rouge Steel over in Dearborn at the headquarters. And then we got bought out by a Russian company that was called Severstal. And then they got bought out and they changed the name. And then they got bought out and changed the name. So I'm absolutely 100% familiar. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the people that actually went down and looked at what was going on at U.S. Steel over in Gary, Indiana. Yeah, I went down there and I took a tour. I seen what the community was like. I kicked it with the people. I documented it. If you want to actually see some of that video, it's on the Anton Daniels channel. Gary, Indiana, I am familiar with what happened in the steel industry. I actually explored a lot of the different buildings, seeing how things was, seeing how things used to be, looked to see how many workers were still going in there. I am familiar with what is happening in the steel industry, baby. David Simpson Jr. says, notice his outfit here versus when he does his speeches. Hashtag context clues. Shout out to Freezy. I love you, Freezy. Eric Isaacson says, I saw for CNN that UPS just announced, we're going to deal with that tomorrow. I got you. UPS just announced laying off 12,000. Didn't they just approve higher wage scale 3 months ago? Did I not tell y'all that this was coming? Did I not tell y'all that this was coming? What, you thought that they was just going to keep the same rates that they was charging people, not pass that over to the consumer and then start to lay off other people, and then replace it with artificial intelligence, robotics, and then lay off people in order to make sure that they keeping they profits still profitable? Oh, y'all thought that just because you was a UPS driver that you was going to get into the... Oh, we going to deal with that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. Enforcer 2K9 says, how are women a minority just because they're women? Don't ask too many questions now. When there's literally more women than men in the population, isn't that what majority means? Listen. Feminism don't like it when you ask questions, buddy. You're going to have to learn how to tame that mouth. You start asking questions, and you're going to start getting answers, and then the more you know, the more that you're going to not want to know, and then it's going to go south from there, all right? Shout out to Professor X. And I'm going to be reading Super Chats also. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Professor X, Who was Professor X, y'all? Yeah. Playing mind games with all of y'all. Got all of these other governors from red states is starting to band together, and he just got the whole camp together. Band camp, baby. Professor X just created the whole X-Clan mutants. Yeah. Mutant Academy. At the mansion. At the governor's mansion over in Texas. Wheelchair and all. Real life Professor X. Shout out to Greg Abbott. And he's saying that most America is against migrants. He's recently done an interview with Fox News where he basically was talking to Shawn Hannity, and he was breaking down what his perspective was, because very rarely do people ask him, what do you think? Why are you doing this? And so he gave his opinion, and I think that we should play this for the people because we need to hear it directly from the horse's mouth. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go, Professor.
Here with more, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Governor, first I applaud your efforts. You've been on this show many times. You've tried convoys. You have done everything humanly possible. So your state, with its constitutional right, has put up the razor wire. They take you to court on that. And now they set up a confrontation between your National Guard and federal border troops. Now, I don't think either side of that equation wants to be enemies. They're all on the same side, aren't they?
They are, and as you pointed out, and as Border Patrol Council and Border Patrol members have made clear to Texas and to myself, they want to have nothing to do with regard to tearing down that razor wire or tearing down the barriers that Texas has erected for one simple reason, and that's because they are working. Border Patrol says that what Texas has done to secure the border actually makes their job even easier. The only resistance we're facing is coming from Joe Biden. Know this, Shawn, and that is Joe Biden is in violation of federal law that already exists. For one, he is not living up to his duty to deny illegal entry across the border. Instead, he's aiding that illegal entry. The second thing is he's not, once people do cross the border, he is not detaining them as he's required by law. Instead, he's giving mass parole across the country. Because Joe Biden is not enforcing the federal immigration laws, that gives Texas the right, under that Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, to defend ourselves from imminent harm or from an invasion. So Texas has every constitutional right in this case, and I believe when the sun sets on this, Texas will be vindicated and the Constitution will be strengthened.
Look at that man. He basically is letting you know, listen, he stated all the laws. I'm sure that Professor X is much smarter than an A student because he can even read our minds. I'm sure he's reading my mind and he knows that I'm talking about this right now. But from a C student's perspective, for the rest of us, right? Because a lot of us was just trying to copy off the other person's paper and they was doing like this. I couldn't stand. I could not stand. You knew I needed help. You knew I didn't study the night before. You knew that I was out playing basketball with my homies, and then we ran into the chicks, and then we started having a good time, and it is what it is. And I know that you were studying hard at home, big dog, but you gonna cover your paper? You ain't never took a test like that before. Can't stand it when they take their tests like this. Thankfully, we ain't got to worry about that no more. Huh? Now, for the rest of us that was doing like this, and the answer that we just so happened to copy be the wrong one that they put down there, for the rest of us, see, I was a little different. I was a little bit more brazen, right? I would just go up there, pick up a test that somebody already turned in, write the whole thing down, and just take the test back up there and said, okay, listen, we going to go ahead and do what we got to do. He said, Anton, you ain't never going to be nothing in your life. I'm going to tell you that story. I'm going to tell you that story in a little bit. But from a C student's perspective, let's bring it back. He basically said, listen, we're making it easier. We're making it easier for the federal government to be able to do their job more effectively. We basically are handing it to them on a silver platter and say, hey, guys, all you got to do is enforce the law. We covering our borders. We taking care of things. I need you guys to do your part that we're already doing more than half of your job. We doing 3/4 of your job. We doing 75% of what you got going on. I need you to do what y'all supposed to do. But instead, the agenda continues. And so what he's basically saying is that, look, guys, if they want to enforce patrolling our borders and taking care of business, then we got to do it ourselves. And now y'all get to see the fact that they really ain't doing what they saying that they doing. And they're leveraging the border as an opportunity to continue to have money funded towards other things that's not in the best interest of the American people. That is what he's saying from a C student's perspective. Hit us with it, Professor.
Yeah. You know, we have relevant U.S. laws. Joe Biden has been aiding and abetting in the law breaking. Joe Biden, I'd even go further. He is violating the laws of this country. He is violating his oath to uphold our Constitution. I could put up on the screen, Title 8 USC 1324. You know, it prohibits alien smuggling, domestic transportation. You know, it goes into, every harboring illegal immigrants, encouraging or inducing, conspiracy, aiding and abetting. If I did any one of the things that Joe Biden is now institutionalized, I would be in jail. And I doubt that the best lawyers in America could get me off the hook.
Well, fair point, but also you're making another profound point. You listed all those different ways that the Biden administration has these duties and responsibilities. Because they're not just doing that job poorly, but because they have totally abandoned doing that job whatsoever. That is exactly what gives Texas our constitutional right for Texas to be able to act. So by Texas building the barriers that we have, by us taking the action to repel illegal immigration, we're fully authorized because the federal government has ceded or conceded the field of immigration enforcement, and Texas has picked up that duty, and we're the ones in self-enforcement. And let me tell you this amazing number, Shawn. If you know where that park is...
Wait. Did y'all see homie doing the breaststroke, doing a freestyle across the river against the muddy waters? Y'all didn't just see that?
Self-enforcement. And let me tell you this amazing number, Shawn. If you know where that park is, where Texas now has taken over and we blockaded that park, that is an area where sometimes over the past year, there would be as many as 2 or 3 or more than that 1,000 people coming across the border a day. Yesterday, there were just 6 people crossing the border. All 6 of those people were arrested by Texas law enforcement officers. We have now cracked down and been able to staunch the flow of illegal immigration. Biden should want this replicated across the entire border. That's what Texas is trying to do as we speak.
Find another way in.
I gotta say one good thing. Your fellow Republican governors have been pretty amazing. They've all come to your defense, every one of them. And they're offering guard troops. They are offering razor wire. They're offering all the help. They understand that you're bearing the brunt of this, but they also understand that their states are also impacted by Joe Biden's open borders. And these people are unvetted, as I keep pointing out. And now Joe Biden's being encouraged to federalize your National Guard, your state guard. What happens if he tries that?
So, first of all, let me give a round of applause for all of the other governors that's holding down Greg Abbott. Somebody in the chat said that y'all call him Wheels in Texas. Shout out to Governor Wheels. I like that name. It's nice, simple, it's clean. It helps us to identify who's speaking at the time. Shout out to Governor Wheels in Texas, Professor X, right? Because he set the standard. And then what makes it an American way is the fact that us as Americans, when we see something is going wrong, we help our brother. We there for him. Also possibly because y'all don't want him coming to y'all state, but he neither here nor there, right? You can both do the right thing and benefit from it at the same time, you know? And so they're banding together, and at every turn and twist where we see opposition from the Biden administration, opposition is from the Biden administration, he goes and he gets another thing, and so now he's trying to federalize what it is that they got going on over there in Texas in order to prevent them from even protecting their own borders. Who does this? Because this is not even necessarily about Greg Abbott. This is about y'all president. Listen, I know we got over 2,100 people on multiple different platforms watching this across America, first of all, make sure you get a like for the YouTube algorithm and for the Facebook algorithm, right? We got thousands of people that's watching this. And of those thousands of people, it's a strong possibility that at least half of y'all, at the very least half of y'all, was over there checking the box to make sure you got Biden in office. So now, he's your president. At least 1050, over 1,000 of y'all that's watching this right now voted him in, and so that's your president. He's our president, but he's your president. You chose him. Similar to these women that have children by men that they don't like later on, and they say, I don't like him. You loved him when you was voting for him, when you was getting vetted for him, so you chose him, right? Right? Now let me ask you a question, because y'all real quiet on Black Lives Matters. You're real quiet on a lot of different issues. You're real quiet. You never brought yourself back to the front of the congregation after you advocated, fought for, and stood for a lot of the things that's the worst for us. And then when they got exposed, nobody said nothing. Nobody asked for their money back. They all just let them little chunky chicks be up there in the hills in California sipping on Mai Tais and margaritas with their white security guards while they was over there doing a scissor kick with their girlfriends and talking about Black Lives Matters and they're supposed to be in Chicago on the boots on the ground, making sure that they get things together. But y'all was advocating for defund the police. We had to watch these NBA teams in a bubble with all of these stupid names on the back of their uniform, and they all was kneeling. Colin Kaepernick finessed y'all. He got a new Nike deal, and so now Nike is going bankrupt. Disney joined in on the fight, and they wanted to make sure that they did things that wasn't in your best interest in all of this. So now that we see all of this stuff playing out every day, situation by situation, at what point are y'all going to hold y'all baby daddy accountable? Or is it only us? Because we don't want y'all to make it seem like we got something against our president, because he's still our president. But at what point are y'all going to hold y'all baby daddy Biden accountable? Ever? Never? Never ever? Because see, if it was me and I was your baby daddy, you would be trying to take me to child support court so you can come up and live a good life. You know what I'm saying? At what point are you going to hold your baby daddy accountable for letting other women inside of your house, aka the migrants? That's all I want to know. At some point, you got to tell me, Anton, okay, he done cheated on me too many times. You going to still stay with the man that's cheating on you? Huh? You going to hold him down? Because see, if it was me, you would leave me and take me to child support immediately. You going to hold down the man that's cheating on you? You going to be a strong woman? Eat the cake, anime. Eat the cake, anime. Nah. That's all Biden is he's Ike Turner and you Tina. He Ike, you Tina. Yeah. Eat the cake, anime. That's all Biden is doing to y'all. I don't want to keep hearing about y'all complaining about it. You voted for him. That's your candidate. Now, when they're in your city displacing you, and when they ask you to make sure that you let them move into your house, I don't want to hear no complaints because you doing this for you and your country. You are a patriot of your country. Let's continue.
Because he did have a deadline of Friday. He hasn't done anything, as usual, but what if that happened?
If he tries to do that, well, first of all, as you know, this is the number one issue in America. Americans want a secure border. If Joe Biden federalizes our National Guard, that would be the biggest political blunder that he could make. And that's why I think he will not do it. That said, of course, I am prepared in the event that they do make such a blunder to make sure that Texas will be able to continue to secure our border.
I'm not even going to ask you what your plan is because I don't want you to telegraph it to them. But the fact that you have a president.
He can't telegraph it to them because that's Professor X, baby. He already 10 steps ahead of them. You see how he's smiling on there? Shout out to Wheels. Wheels on Meals out there in these streets. Meals on Wheels. Shout out to Greg. Shout out to Professor Wheels.
President that has been aiding and abetting we're now getting close to 10 million Joe Biden unvetted illegal immigrants in this country. I can't think of a bigger danger. You've heard from these former retired FBI, people in the upper echelon of the FBI warning that this is an invasion, warning that a lot of these people are, men that are of age that they could wage war on the country. What are the odds that from these countries that they're coming from that they have radical associations and are setting up, sleeper cells here in America? I would say the odds are 100% myself. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, so Shawn, what you just said taps into the words in Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, where it talks about imminent danger.
You see how smart he is? Just pulled that right out of his head. Can't tell me that guy ain't smart.
We are in imminent danger because, as you rightfully point out, these are facts. And that is, there are people who are known terrorists who are coming across the border that pose an imminent danger, whether it be in Texas or some other state. Because Biden is not doing his job, that fully authorizes the state of Texas to protect our state and our country from that imminent danger.
Listen, shout out to Professor X. Shout out to Professor Wheels. Shout out to Governor Wheels. Shout out to Greg Abbott. I say all of that to say that you are literally the man of the year. Last year, going into this year, we almost at the end of the month. I got so much respect for Governor Wheels. Shout out to Greg Abbott, man. We got to give him one more round of applause before we get up out of here. And we not going nowhere because we still got some more stuff to cover, but we definitely got to make sure that we acknowledge the people that's winning out here in these streets. Mo better. I like my ladies. I like them with short hair, long hair. I like them all kind of all over the place. Hey, D. Hey, AD. I like it when you call me AD. I like it when you call me AD. Says just stopping to show support. I like it when you call me AD. Big AD. Might name another channel that. Big AD. You might have to talk about some unsavory things on there. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to my girl Mo Better with the pretty teeth. Pookie's friend Ray Ray. I got jumped by some migraine. While I was taking a truckload up to Detroit. No, you not. I had to leave him in Iowa. Yeah, leave him in Iowa. I like that. Also, Amir Taylor came through and says, Daddy Biden is a real-life Willie Lynch letter. Ooh, he gonna get you. You got an audit coming, buddy. There's no way that you're gonna sit here and say that and not have an audit coming, buddy. Yeah. Anyways, again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Now, we seen Professor X on wheels, right? On the flip side, we got Mayor Mohawk, okay? So what I like to do, is I like to give people nicknames. And one of the reasons that I like to give people nicknames is because it helps me to remember who they are. So I had this little trick in my mind that I would always like do a jingle whenever I met somebody that's significant that I felt like I needed to remember. And so I would actually give them a nickname and then I would make a little jingle in my head. And then that helped me to remember who they are, right? And so I'm shaking your hand and at the same time I'm looking you in your eye and you think that I'm giving you so much respect. But in my mind, I'm putting two bars together so I can remember who you are. Now, the first thing that came to my mind when I seen Brandon Johnson, I seen Mayor Mohawk. Because it go, Eminem, right? I like Eminem. Mayor Mohawk, that's Brandon Johnson. And so I remembered him. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just certain things that my brain work out and it's just like, yo, that, put it together, whatever, that's Mayor Mohawk. And so when I see him, I'm expecting to see that gray beard and that mohawk on the top of his head. And then I know he's going to be talking some nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen and the constituents of Chicago, we got to make sure that we take care of Chicagoans by making sure that we take care of the migrants first. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on your notifications. And if you are not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
Just two quick questions. The first one is...
Let me preface this by saying that Mayor Mohawk just streamed yesterday. This was just last night that this was streamed, okay? And he's basically addressing the public and the media and the Chicago residents during a town hall or a live stream that basically tells you what his next steps are, right? His next step and his plans are for Chicago. And with regard to the migrants, what is he going to do next, right? He's letting us know his plans. He's letting us know how great he is. And so this is what his thoughts are, okay?
What kind of assurances are you getting from the state and from the partner organizations that there will be housing for the people who may be approaching deadlines again in 60 days?
Right. So again, the motivation behind the initial policy was centered around a very comprehensive operation.
So guys, so what happened in the policy is that we had to give 60 days notice because we have a comprehensive plan to make sure that we get everybody moved safely and securely over into the new locations, and we're maintaining and we're maintaining contact with both the governor and his office, and we're also maintaining contact with all of the different agencies that are staffing and helping. And then I also want to give recognition over to the Black church. The Black church is been instrumental. I mean, in every way, shape, and form, instrumental. And they have been, amongst an apocalypse, a beacon of light for these migrants. Let me let him play. I don't want to talk for him. I want him to talk.
Of which the state has resettled thousands of families. We already are seeing some reassurance because they have staffed up in our shelters, whether it's through Catholic Charities or New Life.
Honest to God, I have not seen this clip. I'm telling you, I have not seen this clip at all. I am reacting to it for the first time. And he is saying word for word almost with different adjectives and certain nouns, vowels, consonants, all of that. He is saying word for word what I was about to say. I have, on my father's grave, I have never seen this clip before. And he's literally saying the exact same thing that I was just telling y'all.
There are far more people who are available to help families resettle as fast as possible. And that's really the goal, is to make sure that we're resettling families as fast as possible, because we don't have any control over how many families will arrive. We are doing our very best to create some structure around what we do have control over. Thank you for that.
Hi, Mayor.
Hey.
This is Maria Berreyesa from Univision. So my question is kind of similar to his. We have heard a lot of concern of the migrants' families once they are approaching this 60-day limit. So if you can explain, like step by step, what's going to be the process after they face the eviction process? What options do they have?
Well, again, the goal is to get them onto a path of sustainability.
I can already tell you what he's going to say, but I don't want to prolong this longer than it have to be.
And independence. Unfortunately, the governor of Texas has not been a cooperative partner in this endeavor. And the city of Chicago, we're doing everything that we can. Everything that we can. As I said before, there are other states that have placed caps. We haven't done that. The city council members that are here today, helped us pass a budget where, we appropriated $150 million for this mission. And look, this is difficult for everyone. Migrants want a better life. There are people in Chicago who have been here who want a better life. That's why we've committed $250 million into the unhoused in this budget. We have a 3-year commitment for a homeless chief, but there are some limitations to what we.
They have literally created a new position out of his own mouth, and the position is the homeless chief. Jesus Christ. I never thought I'd see the day where a new position is created in Chicago administration of Brandon Johnson for the homeless chief. Who is the homeless chief? Who is the homeless chief over in Chicago? Did I hear that correctly? Hold on, man. It's impossible. There's nowhere in the world that I just heard this man say that they just created a new position called the homeless chief. Jesus Christ.
Chief, we have a 3-year commitment for a homeless chief.
Chicago. He just told y'all, we don't got a cap on how many homeless people and how many migrants we gonna have up in the city. When other cities said, you know what, we got enough, Denver, New York, all of them, they said, listen, we can't take it no more. We got to do something. We got to do something. Chicago is ground zero. Número uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete. Chicago is ground zero because they don't even have a cap. They going to continue to spend your tax. Like he said, listen, we've allocated $150 million, which is not even enough, of your money, buddy. This is your money. Your money. This is Chicagoans' money. Y'all know y'all paying into this, right? This is your tax dollars. This is supposed to be allocated for your community centers, for businesses, tax breaks to bring more jobs. This is supposed to be allocated in order for them to continue to fix the roads, infrastructure, bridges. They done sold their streets off already. They raising property taxes. This is your money. Oh my God, if I was in Chicago, I would be losing my mind. If I was in Chicago, if I was a resident of Chicago, if I was from Chicago, I would get on the Anton Daniels train and I would say, you know what, Anton? You had it right all along. You should be holding us accountable. You should be holding us accountable. You should be bringing all of our legislators up to the front of the congregation. Listen, I need to talk to my people. Hey, can we get some of these, Rita, can we get some of these aldermen on the line? Because I need to know what the heck is going on. I need to know who, what, when, where, and why, how are y'all continuing to do this that's not in the best interest of the residents? We know this ain't in the best interest. Ain't nobody happy about this. Even the suburbs is like, you know what, Mayor? What you doing, Mayor Mohawk?
But there are some limitations to what we can do. This is literally unprecedented. Do you all realize this has never happened in the history of the United States of America, where a municipality is being asked, not even just being asked, we've established a migrant.
Ooh, he slipped up. He slipped up. He caught himself. Listen, pay attention to the context clues. Pay attention. Listen, what you say, how you say it, whether you said it the right way and all of this, that better informs us as to what's going on. Y'all not listening. For all of the 2,000, 2,100, 2,200 plus people that's watching this right now, listen to what is being communicated. Because who's asking? Who asked him to do anything? I wasn't my words. I'm just listening to it for the first time that he said it. Who asked him to do anything? Who is the person that's asking for him and whoever it is in his municipality to do anything?
Do you all realize this has never happened in the history of the United States of America, where a municipality is being asked, not even just being asked, we've established
Who is it that is asking you and mandating for you to do this to the detriment of the people that you serve? Who?
Migrant refugee settlement. That has never happened in the history of imperialism. The closest example could be, you know, what happened with Cambodians, Laotians, and South Vietnamese, where you had the International Rescue Committee that established an infrastructure with 16 cities. It took them 21 years to resettle 2 million people. We've resettled thousands of them in a matter of months. And by the way, we did that in 2023 without a budget because the previous city council didn't even budget for this. So we've stood up 27, 28 shelters, 5,000 children are in schools. You just heard from both of our commissioners providing health screenings. The county is stepping up. We're literally doing something that has never been done in the history of imperialism. And so we're working hard, but there are limitations to this operation, and we're doing our very best to provide as much hope and opportunity for people who want to live in Chicago.
Hey, Mayor, how much of the city's $150 million that was budgeted for this year has been spent? And you're forecasting, when do you expect to extend all of that money? And do you already plan to have to do a mid-year budget amendment to appropriate more?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Ask me about my next year's budget. It's $1.5 million a day. It's $1.5 million a day.
I don't really know if y'all know how much money that is. We're not talking about $1.5 million a year. We're not talking about $1.5 million a month. They're allocating and literally spending $1.5 million a day. A day. Hold on. Let me say it again for the people in the back. $1.5 million a day is what they're spending. Now, I'm not the smartest and the sharpest knife inside of the cookie drawer, so let me go ahead and get my calculators out. Everybody break out your T185s, your T81000s. Now, $1.5 million a day. Okay, we there, we got it. And then you multiply that by 30. That's $45 million a month times 12. So they've allocated. Now, again, I'm not the sharpest knife in a cookie drawer, but my calculator from Apple says that this is correct. The budget is, and they knew that the budget was underfunded, and we talked about this because it already was in a deficit, is $150 million for the fiscal year. Now, if my mental math is correct, that's $540 million, which is more than $500 million a year. So if you've allocated $150 million in your current fiscal budget, but you costing yourself, and is going to grow, the equivalent of more than $500 million a year, where does the difference come from? Where does the difference come from? If this is not the biggest bumble F mismanaged city in the United States of America, I don't know what is. The most mismanaged city in the United States of America, I don't know what is. Everybody that is watching this, that is from Chicago, that is in Illinois, that is in Chicago, if you are not contacting your alderman, if you are not reaching out to his office and flooding his phones with complaints and your thoughts of what your issues are, if y'all are not still showing up to these community meetings, if you think that these people should be able to do this in secret, and let's be clear, the city council, the aldermen, they are in on it too. You know why? Because they had to approve the budget. So it's not just on him. It's also on the people that you have direct contact with. So if they are not working on your behalf, if you don't know who your alderman is, if you don't know who everybody is that's in your legislative branches that's in your city, and you're not participating and protesting against this and calling for him to put an end to this and then not be a sanctuary city anymore so that he can then hold Texas up and protecting our borders, what is wrong with you? This is your money. This is your tax dollars. It's coming away from your school. They got more than 5,000 kids already in the schools. They got your health care coverage. Your whole system is going to collapse under this whole regime. Listen. I told y'all and I warned y'all before. I said it. I said, listen, y'all are on an accelerated path to bankruptcy. And this will be the biggest bankruptcy if this continues to go the exact same way that it's going in the history of the United States of America as far as the biggest city to ever form back. You can forget about what happened in Detroit. You can forget about the recovery over in Chicago. You can forget about it. Forget about it. Anybody that works for the city of Chicago, you're going to be taking a pay cut. Anybody that is under the budgets of what's happening in Chicago, you're going to be getting laid off. They are hoping, and this is just my personal opinion, they are hoping for the federal government to bail them out under the idea that the Biden administration is going to win the next election. They are banking on it. It's the only hope that they got. If you spending over $500 million and growing, and you still have migrants arriving to your front door, and you are over budget significantly already from the last fiscal year from Mayor Beetlejuice, and Mayor Mohawk is sitting here telling you that they're spending $1.5 million a day. How do you justify this right there in front of our face when we got calculators right here on our phones?
You said that. That's not breaking news, maybe for some people, but it's a $1.5 million a day. We're in the 26th day.
Hi, Mayor. Thanks. I noticed there are 187 people still awaiting shelter at O'Hare. Theoretically, I guess, had space been opened up in the shelters, they would have moved into a shelter. So do they continue to wait, or is maybe more space opening up in the faith-based community?
Well, first of all, thank you for acknowledging the space that the faith community has provided.
What did I tell y'all that the blueprint was going to be when we started this live stream? When we started talking about this and we started reviewing this video, what did I tell you that he was going to hit on as a part of his speech? That he was going to lean on the faith-based community. And thank you for acknowledging the faith-based community. The Catholic and the Black Church has been fervent in making sure that they take care of and assist us. Oh, man.
So we are literally organizing the philanthropic community, the faith community, government. No one else in the country is doing what the city of Chicago is doing. No one. It's not happening anywhere. And remember when there were thousands of migrants who were in police districts? And I said I would fix that. We did it. We did it. And it wasn't easy, but we have a very, very strong, dedicated group of people who love this city, who are working hard to find shelter. And so as space becomes available and as we resettle families, of course, we're going to make room. Remember, at one point, it was 500 people in just in O'Hare. Remember that? And so, look, people are working hard. They really are. And I'm grateful for the people of Chicago, because this has been hard on everyone. But we have not flinched. And we're still opening up to mental health.
That's not an answer. It's not an answer. Jesus Christ.
Clinics. We still dedicated $100 million to violence prevention. You know, the good effort of our vice mayor and the Black Caucus, a brand new office for reentry, $5 million. We committed another $76 million to make sure that youth employment, of which we already had a 20% increase from the previous summer. So we haven't had to cut services. We have not stopped our agenda. We still abolished some minimum wage. Thank you, Alder Fuentes. Paid time off. Like, our agenda has not stopped. And of course, we're going to continue to find shelter as it becomes available. But this is, the federal government has to do more. We know that. President Biden has put forth a package. Congress needs to act. This is not sustainable. I've been saying it. I'm going to continue to say it. But we're going to continue to bring people together to
Congress, hold the line. Congress, hold the line. We ain't even fully funded the federal government that we got. Congress, I'm calling on every single Congress member to hold the line. Don't give them nothing. Don't give them nothing. Not one dime of my taxpayer dollars that come out of my federal pay, that come out of the federal of my paycheck. Not one dime. I don't support this. I don't vote for it. Don't give a dime. Don't give no bail, because it ain't even no plan to end it. There's no plan to stop this. There's no plan to stop the bleeding. Jesus Christ. You giving a blood infusion over to somebody that's bleeding profusely. And there's no way for them to stop the bleeding. Not a staple, not a stitch, not nothing. There's no way to stop the bleeding. They just pumping out blood.
the very best I can, the very best that we can to provide support for these families. Thank you.
Hi, Mayor.
Hey, I'm sorry about the snow. I know how eager you are to get back to snowboarding. So before you I just want you to know, I just kind of sized you up, and it's good to know that my intuition was right. So maybe one day we can do an exclusive with the two of us doing some snowboarding, and you get to ask me whatever.
This is the way that you go out. Come on, man. Stop, bro. Stop. Let me get to the end of this. I don't want to see this bull crap.
Again, we're preparing to open up 2 mental health clinics, $250 million into the unhoused. We're moving forward with our Office of Reentry, preparing our young people to work this summer. There's development that continues to happen throughout the city of Chicago. There's so many other things that are happening in the city of Chicago, and I understand why there's a hyper focus here. You all know that our homicides are down, shootings are down. Even in the months of January, we're already seeing robberies, vehicular carjackings down.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be off here because I know I do a segment in the morning that basically is dedicated to crime. Are we not seeing literally kids get hit by stray bullets? A rideshare driver, somebody just died last night for delivering food. Jesus Christ.
Shootings are down, homicides are down, our credit score is up. It's an amazing freaking city, isn't it, you all? Thank you all very much.
Did this man just say amazing freaking city? Did this man just not say? And he got an applause.
We're seeing robberies, vehicular carjackings down, shootings are down, homicides are down, our credit score is up. It's an amazing freaking city, isn't it, you all? Thank you all very much.
Oh, Chicago. Chicago. Chi-Town, and you say Chi-City. Oh, Chicago. Y'all cannot be this bad. You cannot at all be this bad. Jesus Christ. Chicago. Chi-Town, where y'all at, man? Come on back to the front of the congregation. Come on to the front of the congregation. Chi-Town, what up? What up? What we got going on in Chi-Town, y'all? Jesus Christ. For the first time on the Millionaire Morning Show, I'm speechless. For the first time on the Millionaire Morning Show, I am speechless. I have never seen such Jesus Christ.
Credit score is up. It's an amazing freaking city, isn't it, you all?
Carolina's own DJ K Smooth said Meals on Wheels. Shout out to K Smooth, because he can't. I can't either, big dog. Good day to everyone. I appreciate you for holding me down. Chris James is in the building, says, I heard from a U.S. government worker that 90% of migrants are coming over no intention to work, just to get free social services. Solution Trucking Channel. Shout out to Solution Trucking, says, I want to throw my hat in the ring on one of the up-and-coming YouTube channels. Take a picture of that. Bam. To check out. I'm dropping a new video this Thursday. I'm here to stay. Shout out to the Solution Trucking Channel. We're going to check that out. I'm going to evaluate it and see if you guys are out here rocking out. Jay Hunter Lee says, that's exactly what an emasculated man looking sound like. Shout out to Jay Hunter Lee. I appreciate you. David Simpson Jr. says, Mayor Johnson 0, Professor X 2 million. I'm saying 2 million. I'm going to add the extra zeros on that joint. Sharik 43 says, Latinos pushing their agenda using the weak black politicians and Joe to take over. Listen to the questions they ask. Latinos are asking for more. You could never be more right, Sharik. And see, the thing about it is that they know that they don't have to listen to you because they know that how you already going to vote. They already know how you going to vote. All you got to do is declare yourself to be of a certain party, and they're going to vote a certain way. There's no reason for them to give you anything because they already have everything from you. What we got going on? What's the last thing that we want to talk about today? We talking about Mayor Mohawk. Oh, Ozempic. Ozempic. I want to talk about Ozempic. I seen an article, or not an article, a video that fell on my timeline from Bloomberg. Now, remember, guys, before we get into this last article or this last part of the show, because we want to get to the money too, even though everything comes back down to the money. Before we get to this last part of the show, I want to make sure you guys tap into our sponsor of the show, T. Chanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. It's an awesome product. The link is in the description. And then we got Stock Club tonight, right? So if you are not a part of the Patreon, please go and check out the past Stock Club that's on the Patreon before you tune into the live stream tonight, so you'll understand and get a foundation of what we're doing when it comes to making sure that you guys have the best investment advice going forward, okay? So we got that tonight, and then we got after hours later on, and we're going to get that popping, okay? So let's go ahead and get it popping. I want to get into this whole situation because it's a big deal, and it seems as though, or this is the name of the show, or the clip that basically showed up on my timeline, and it said how Ozempic became the new Viagra. I have not seen it yet. I have no clue of what it is that they're going to talk about, but I want to evaluate this because I've been hearing this, and I hear that a lot of celebrities, and I've been hearing it on TV and stuff like that, of people using this to lose weight. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's find out what this is all about, y'all.
When I look around this room, I can't help but wonder, is Ozempic right for me?
Ozempic has been around for several years now, and it was a treatment for type 2 diabetes. In 2022, it started entering the public consciousness.
Ozempic is great for people whose parents can't cook.
Like, shut the up. You're on Ozempic.
It was a social media phenomenon. This surge of beautiful people talking about losing weight with this medicine.
What is Ozempic face?
The biggest corporate beneficiary of the drug's popularity has been Novo Nordisk.
Ozempic's success has turned Novo Nordisk into Europe's biggest company, with a valuation of $450 billion.
See, now I'm skeptical. I'm very, very skeptical because, okay, so they're telling me that this is a drug that was initially put together for people that were diabetic, right? There's different types of diabetics. There's type 1 and then type 2. Type 1 is basically the people that's born with it. Type 2 is the people that eventually got it. And then I was talking to my guy Yaki Awaken, and he was saying that he was able to reverse his and stuff like that. So it's a lot of content out there. Go and watch the whole interview on the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But now they're saying that this thing has started to become wildly popular in popular culture, especially when it comes to content creators using it and even celebrities leveraging it in order to continue to lose weight. So I don't know how a shot forces you to lose weight, but I'm sure I'm going to find out. But then again, you know, my mind works a little bit differently. And so I'm saying, well, why wouldn't these big drug companies leverage social media and influencers to continue to get the visibility and the popularity of it out there? Especially considering that now that the company has a valuation of over $400 billion, $480 billion. Come on, man. Look, whenever the valuation of a company and it's that level of revenue that's going through these coffers, how is it any different than the opioid crisis? How are they not incentivizing doctors to recommend this to you, especially considering that it's going to fill the coffers of what they got going on? And I need to understand why they're looking at this as the new Viagra. When I see a company and they say, well, it's valued at over $400 billion plus dollars, this is straight up about influence in order to get more visibility for a product that most people is not even using for its intended purpose.
That's overtaken its peers such as AstraZeneca, GSK, Roche, LVMH outside of the pharmaceutical space.
But a new contender has entered the ring.
Eli Lilly also now has a competing drug. It's called Zepbound, and it looks to be even more effective than Novo's drug, and it also is a little bit cheaper.
It's really set off a horse race between these two fierce competitors to see who will take the biggest part of this enormous market.
So the weight loss market is now leaning to drugs that's initially put together in order to continue to capitalize off of diabetics. And now it's a competing product Similar to how Viagra and Cialis used to compete with each other in order to see who can get most users for people that's trying to take a shortcut. Got it.
It begs the question, as new drugs come to market, is the pie big enough for everyone?
Ozempic and Wegovy have the same main ingredient, which is called semaglutide. This is a GLP-1, so that means it's mimicking a hormone called GLP-1, which your body would naturally make after eating.
They slow gastric emptying and they suppress your appetite and force you to eat less.
Researchers started to realize from very early on that weight loss was going to be a side effect of this type of medicine.
In 2021, semaglutide was approved for weight loss with the brand name Wegovy. And that's when it started to become something much more than just a treatment for diabetes. All of these GLP-1 drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, all have side effects. The most common are stomach issues, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, but Zepbound actually looks to have potentially less side effects.
Wait.
But Zepbound.
What do you mean by stomach issues? Just curious. What does that all include? Stomach issues, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting. Yo, this sounds like a bad commercial. But I'm guessing that people will do anything to get the results that they got. I mean, if you're going to fly to Miami in order to get a BBL, or you're going to go over to the Dominican Republic in order to get your teeth done, I'm pretty much sure that it's going to be a market for it. Hey, why don't y'all sponsor me? Listen, hey, Big O, or Wacoby, Jacob and Jacoby, come holler at your boy. Let's have a conversation.
Actually looks to have potentially less side effects.
We have been competing with Eli Lilly for 100 years in diabetes, and we're happy to do so in obesity also.
The competition between Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk is nothing new. Both companies released their first insulin products in 1923, and both of them have really dominated this diabetes space. There's also been an increase in type 2 diabetes, which means that there's an increase in demand for the drugs that treat type 2.
Meaning, basically, you create the problem. This is what my C student brain is basically saying. They create a problem that they can profit from by treating the symptoms and not actually giving you solutions. Well, why would they want to give you solutions when they're the ones that created the problem, right? And it's not saying that they created the problem specifically, but what hand do you have in controlling and lobbying of what happens for our food that we basically eating over here in America, that then determines how much you can profit from what you basically charge in insurance companies and people at an individual level to treat whatever the problem is and not actually solve for the issue, because we never should be eating this food in the first place. So we created a problem that we can profit from by solving. Got it. First step, create the problem. Look, man, when you go over to some of these other countries, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and it absolutely blew my mind when I was over in Tokyo last August. Their food don't even taste like ours. I'm being absolutely real with you. The food over there in Tokyo does not taste, it's richer, but it don't have no sugar in it, and it's natural, and you eat less of it, and the people over there are skinny, and they're healthier, and they live to be 100+ years old in good health. And it's like, when you start tasting the food, and I was like, oh, this is good. Like, it was just naturally good. You didn't need any seasonings. You ain't need no hot sauce. You ain't need no extra salt, sugar, pepper, nothing. It was just good, just how it was. The fruit was very, very colorful. It was good. It was rich. It was tasty. And it just tastes different. Like, I can't even explain to you the difference in the taste of how it was over there. I can't explain to you the difference in taste of the food of what it was over there. It just tastes good. It was just way different. It just tastes natural. It seemed like it didn't have no preservatives in it. It was just good freaking food.
Diabetes.
They're also being tested in several other diseases, sleep apnea and other comorbidities of obesity. This could be one of the biggest drug classes by sales.
In 2019, Lilly and Novo traded at comparable levels to the rest of the pharma industry. Since June 2021, when the FDA approved Wegovy, the stock's valuations have soared, tracking alongside companies such as Apple. They're being
somebody in the chat that's a part of the Bag Chasers, make sure that y'all earmark this. because we need to evaluate what the possible prospects of investing in this country. Investing in these companies, because obviously these are things that's going to continue to explode. That's not going to have any kind of additional regulation to it whatsoever. So we need to evaluate and look at what Novo and Eli Lilly is doing from an investment perspective and what the numbers are. I've never even considered it. It's not something that I've evaluated. So make sure that y'all put that on the list, because this is something that we're going to have to talk about in the future stock club. All right, let's continue.
Valued on how much they're likely to grow in the next few years.
So both Novo and Lilly are trading at essentially tech multiples, which is not common for the large pharma group.
Another similarity with tech is the need to keep innovating to overcome competitive hurdles, which in pharmaceuticals includes the patent expiration on drug formulas.
Patents protect a drug from competition for a certain amount of time, enabling the originator of the drug to recoup their R&D investment.
Drug makers can never rest on their laurels, right? These drugs are just hitting the market now, and they are nowhere close to their peak sales potential.
We really haven't seen this much hype around a pharmaceutical product since Viagra.
Ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor about Viagra single packs.
And it's interesting because Viagra was discovered in a similar way. Viagra was initially developed for heart conditions and saw that it had these other effects and then went after it for erectile dysfunction.
For drugs like Viagra, these are small molecules, so they're easy to produce. And when they lose patent expiration, they tend to lose around 80% of their sales within their first year. For GLP-1 drugs, these are larger molecules, so much harder to produce. So when they lose patent expiration, the sales decline is much slower.
We have a lot of other drug makers looking to get in on this market now. Amgen's developing a shot that can be taken less frequently. This is the first time that we've had drugs that are really effective to treat obesity.
Amid this potential sales bonanza, both Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are investing heavily into expanding capacity. But for now, producing enough drugs has been tough.
Do what you gotta do, just make sure you save some medication for the people that actually need it.
The demand for these products is so high, off-label usage is high, and so Novo has actually started to restrict lower doses of Wegovy in the US to protect the patients that are already on the drugs.
Another hurdle is reimbursement and also cost.
All of the drugs are really expensive right now. We're looking at $1,000 per month or more. Obesity for a long time was just thought of as a lifestyle choice. You'll lose weight if you eat less. We've seen how much money the diet industry makes here in the United States. And so it really wasn't until the last decade that obesity has been treated as an actual disease.
So it hasn't.
So everything is a disease now, right? Everything that's a self-inflicted wound is a disease now. Well, in my mind, that's an opportunity to continue to profit from it. Because I don't want them to get all of the money. I also want to be an investor in what's going on. And if they actually aggressively expanding because they making so much money from this drug, jeez.
Really being reimbursed well, and it's largely been an out-of-pocket market.
If you've never lived in a bigger body, you have zero room to judge.
You know, I've been covering pharma.
This is so dumb. We are so stupid. We're just stupid as a nation, as an environment. Jesus Christ.
For 15 years, give or take, and I've never had people be more interested in a topic. When you talk to people about these, they very quickly go to a place of, oh, do you think that I need this? It speaks to the consciousness that people have about their bodies in a really interesting way.
So the obesity market was worth $2.5 billion in 2022. We estimate that this market could be in excess of $80 billion by 2030, and that's...
Yep, we're going to be talking about it in Stock Club. So make sure that y'all get y'all research on. We're not going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it in the next Stock Club. I'm earmarking this. We definitely got to have a conversation, because we can't just hear this information and say, oh my God, people need to lose weight. No, we need to have this conversation and say, hey, why aren't we actively profiting from the fact that people are deciding that they're going to do what they want to do and they want to call it a disease in the first place? So, yeah.
Based on relatively low penetration rates, around 11% of obese patients in the US being treated, about 6% in Europe. Novo and Lilly are really going to be driving the space.
Because now we have two competitors in the space, it's just going to make the whole market bigger.
Okay. All right. I got it. So we definitely going to explore that, and we definitely going to have that conversation. Listen, I got to read a couple of super chats, and then we got to get y'all up out of here. Bitcoin Brown in the building says, let's get Jeanette Alderman back on time to get her updated thoughts on all of this. Keep shining a light on these dark areas of the world. I will. I'm going to work on it. I got y'all. Absolutely. Alboa Cinema says, peace and Pan-African. Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism. This is $10 for the great stream as usual. Pronounce the name. It's Alboa Cinema. Alboa Cinema. Shout out to you. Meaning Albo, who does cinema in Swahili. They offered that class, and I was thinking to myself, they was offering that class in high school, and I was thinking to myself, I probably should learn Spanish. I chose French. Then I was in there sweating, taking my final test, and they was covering up their test like this. I said, oh, man, I should have picked Spanish. But absolutely. Shout out to my Swahilian-speaking people in the building. Easy Money said, did he say obesity hustle is worth 80 billion? More than that. That's just about 2030 in that particular market with that particular drug. We gonna talk about it. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. Thank you to everybody that's showing me love. Thank you to everybody that's just discovering me. If you have not hit a like for the algorithm, I appreciate it. If you have not subscribed to the channel, it's probably in your best interest. And then last but not least, if you're not a Patreon member, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Again, thank you to Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Ladies get it for your fellas. Fellas, don't wait for your ladies to get it for you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that hold me down on a daily basis, because this is by far under no guise of misunderstanding or people thinking that it's anything other than it's not. This is the greatest morning show on the face of the planet, including anything that's on cable, anything that's on the internet. Nobody is messing with us. Nobody. Shout out to my workers all across the United States of America. Shout out to my people in the UK, Africa, Canada, Asia, everybody that's watching this platform on any part of the world. I love you. I appreciate you. You are my heart. You are my family. We do not miss. We're going to be right back here tomorrow morning. But tonight we got Stock Club. And then we also got to make sure that we take care of business when it comes to after hours. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, though. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love y'all. I absolutely love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace. Thank you, friends.